Hi guys, welcome back. Well, today's video is going to be a review on the newest foundation from Dior, and that is the Dior Star Foundation. It looks like this. And many of you asked me for a review when I showed this in a recent haul. At that time, I said I was kind of on the fence about it. It seemed like it had, multiple personalities to me, and I needed to try it out a few more days before I actually reviewed it. I also took some footage of me applying it so you could see the coverage. So just to get the basics out of the way, it is 1 fluid ounce, it's SPF 30, and it retails for $50 at Sephora. And I am in the shade 10. I also bought number 20 just so I could see them side by side in the bottle, even though 10 was recommended for me through the Sephora Color ID. So speaking of the Sephora Color ID, let me just touch on that real quick because I know I've mentioned this to a few of you. That's how I buy my foundations online at Sephora if I can't get color matched, because a lot of times the 2 Sephoras by me don't carry a lot of the brands or all of the brands. You can also go into an actual Sephora where they have the little gadget that put up to your skin and it'll color match you there. But how I found it to be easy online is basically when you're signed in to your account on Sephora, you click foundations. You can then, the little box pops up at the top, you can put, I think then that's where it says the color ID. You just click on that. An easy way is just to go through the list of foundations. Now it needs to be a foundation that Sephora has, a brand that they carry. So if you have a foundation that you know the shade is perfect for you, then go ahead and put in that brand and the shade. Well, then it will color match you based on brands that match that shade. So for instance, if a brand doesn't have a shade that matches you, well, then you may not see that particular foundation show up in your list of recommendations. You'll then also see a little box at the top that you can go a shade lighter, a shade darker. So that's always convenient, if you're trying to match summer color or winter color. So what I love is then just going through the foundations, then you can click through whether your combination or whatever, and it will narrow it down even further. But what I found I really love is every time then afterwards that you have saved that color ID number, you're signed into the site, anytime you click on a foundation, it will automatically circle or have a little square around the shade that is right for you. I've tested this out with several different shades because at first I always thought, oh, it just automatically just clicks on a shade. But now I've noticed that shade it automatically clicks on is the one that's right for me. And what I love is Sephora now is starting to incorporate more shade descriptions in their foundation. So if you hover over the shades, it will say whether it's a cool, undertone, neutral, or warm. So I think that helps a little bit too. But I'm telling you, I've really found the color ID to match me well when you have a foundation already that you love. So let's get on with this foundation. I'm just going to read you what it says from Sephora. It says it's a lightweight foundation with broad spectrum SPF 30 that brightens even skin tone, reduces the appearance of dark spots. It's infused with hollow silica beads that capture and diffuse light. It says the color pigments also neutralize skin tone imbalances. On and on. You can read that on the site, but just kind of wanted to give you its claims. So as I'd mentioned in that previous video, like I said, I'm kind of on the fence about this foundation, but now that I've waited a few days to do the review, I'm pretty sure now I have a definite answer for you. So let's just go to some pros and cons that I wrote down to kind of help me remember what I thought of this foundation. Obviously the con is the price. It's $50. It is in a really nice glass bottle, but again, I kind of think that's goes against it being in a glass bottle because it's not really travel friendly. It does come in 14 shades, which is good and bad. It's more than some foundations, but I find the shades to be very tricky. For instance, I'm in shade 10, which is the lightest one, but I almost find that a little too light. But then 20 seems like it was a little too dark for me this time of year. Long wearing. I have combination skin, which mainly just means I'm more oily in the T-zone, gonna have drier cheeks and forehead. I found this to last on me, at least a good 6 to 8 hours, and then I only had to blot in my normal areas, which is my chin and kind of right by my nose where I start to get oily. With that being said, if you have dry skin or drier skin, this probably isn't going to work for you because it's long wearing and because it kind of can cling sometimes to any dry spots. The coverage is very lightweight, it's very thin, which you'll see in the demo, but it is buildable. Another negative for me is the scent. It has a very heavy floral scent when you first put it on. I don't notice it as the day, you know, wears on. I don't notice the scent anymore, but it does bother me a little bit. Like today I'm having kind of a bad allergy day, and it made my eyes water a little bit when putting it on. So let's go ahead and cut to the demo of me putting it on. I talk a little bit more about the coverage there, and then we'll chat back afterwards. So I'm just going to use a beauty blender. I found this works the best with this foundation. Oddly enough, this is a really thin foundation. I usually don't like a beauty blender with thin foundations, but this seems to work the best. I tried it with the brush and I really didn't like it, maybe because it is thin. You kind of see brush marks no matter if you stipple it or whatever. So I'm going to put a couple of pumps, it does come with a pump, on the back of my hand, and then just work it in there. And you can just see I am a little more blotchy today. And the color to me seems kind of light when I first put it on, and then it kind of adjusts slightly. It doesn't really oxidize as far as like turning orange, but it does darken ever so slightly to where it doesn't look strange, if that makes sense. It does have a really strong scent, if I didn't already mention that. I only notice it, you know, right when I'm putting it on, and then it does dissipate. It's not something that hangs around, thankfully, because it's a pretty strong floral scent. Typically, I'll show you after this one application. Typically, I have to build this foundation up to have close to the coverage that I like. Now, keep in mind, you know, I have a lot of things to cover, as you guys can see, and I can tell looking in the camera, my face looks like ghostly white right now. I am using my new camera, by the way, so I'm gonna work on some adjustments to see with the lighting in this room, but it does seem to darken slightly, like I said. Just ever so slightly to make it work. But then again, you know, I put on a little bronzer and powder and blush, and I feel like all that kind of makes it work. But it is, to me, a little too light. So this is just one application. You can still see, you know, especially around my nose, redness around my nose. You can see all of my hyperpigmentation down here from past acne scars. You can see I have some darker spots here. So I'm gonna do one more pump and we'll see what that looks like. And I always start kind of on my cheek area where I need the most coverage, but it is easily blendable, which is good. Okay, so there we have it. It's not enough coverage on my chin. I would like more, and I usually have to then put quite a bit of concealer around my mouth. That's just the area where I typically break out anyway, though. And it's really not enough around my nose, because that's the place where I get red typically, or I'm blowing my nose because of allergies. Any dry spots you may have, like this is a pimple that's healing up, it may adhere to that slightly. And I notice like right over here, it seems slightly kind of, I don't know, like just makes my pores or my skin not look the best. From far away though, you know, or from a regular distance, I think it looks pretty good, especially once you get concealer, everything on. It looks pretty good. I just don't like having to put 2 layers on. I don't know, I find some days it looks really good immediately, and other days, like if I have any little issue, like I said, if I'm dry, blowing my nose a lot like the last couple days, it will adhere or make, like settle into like little pores or something. You can kind of see the makeup. And again, like I said, I'm looking behind me, I can tell it like really makes my face look white. My neck is always a little bit darker, but I feel like it ends up working, and of course you'll see that in the beginning and the end of this video, but just wanted to show you what it looks like with no concealer or anything as far as the coverage. So as you could tell by, you know, the coverage and my thoughts during the demo, it's really not enough coverage for me. On days where I might be having some allergy issues, then my skin is a little more blotchy, my eyes are a little more red, things are a little more hard to cover. I like more of a medium to full coverage. I don't want anything looking cakey, but I definitely don't want to have to work a lot at my concealer. So I don't know if you can tell, I worked quite a bit with my concealer around my mouth and areas today. Like I said, I'm a little more blotchy because of allergies. And I still feel like you can see a lot of redness even with 2 applications of that foundation. Now, when I first got this foundation, the few times I tried it, I was having really good skin days, not much to cover up. Even though I still had to put 2 applications of the foundation, I didn't have to use as much concealer, and it just looked really nice. I do like the finish of it because of that. It looks like skin. It doesn't look like you have, you know, face full of makeup on. It feels really nice. It doesn't feel like you have makeup on. It's not sticky or tacky. So for those reasons, I really do like it. Like I said in that previous video when I hauled it, it's like the things I like about it make it really good, but there are things, the negative is what kind of pushes it to where, is it worth it? So for me right now, I actually think I might return this. I don't really think it's worth it. If I don't love it for $50, you know, it makes me think I should definitely return it. And it may just be a color match thing for me right now too. This may be one of those foundations in the spring or summertime when I have a little more color, it's a little more hot outside. This will be a great foundation because it lasts long, and the color will match me better. I often find this time of year it's really hard to color match me because when you have any kind of imperfections, a really light foundation is just going to magnify those. So everything I have on right now, again, I hope it's coming off true to color. I had bronzer and, you know, blush and everything that makes it look pretty even. Again, the longer I wear it, it does seem to match me a little better than when I first put it on. It looks like that stark white. So those are my thoughts. I hope this helped you. For those of you that wanted to know a little bit more about it, I think seeing me apply it probably helped. I think this is going to be a really pretty foundation for a lot of people, but then also I think there's going to be that group that it just doesn't work. So thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye.